don't worry. When the funeral is over, that same guy will go around the whole place and say, how will this stranger come and take over my property to bury his wife without paying me? What is 400 shekels of silver between me and you? Verse 16. And Abraham hearkened unto Ephron, and Abraham weighed to Ephron the silver, which he had named in the audience of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, current money, with the merchant. And the field of Ephron, which was in Machpelah, which was before Mamre, the field, and the cave which was therein, and all the trees that were in the field, that were in all the borders round about, were made sure. Sure. Unto Abraham for a possession in the presence of the children of Heth before all. So Abraham did not just buy the cave. Bought the cave, bought the field, bought all the trees. Paid the full worth of it. You know why? He knew that he was going to die also. And that's where he's going to be buried. Wealthy men who don't die early usually prepare their burying place ahead. Wealthy men who don't die suddenly, they prepare their burying place ahead. There are very few wealthy men whose family bury properly if they didn't pre-plan the death. And you know, most people don't plan to die. In fact, they don't like it. They don't like planning their death. And it will be a good thing for you. Plan your death. Plan your death, because you will die now. How can you not be planning something that is going to happen? Plan it. It's reality. You should plan death. You should plan death. I'm in my 40s, but the way I'm planning my life now, I'm planning this ministry like somebody that can go at any time. Right now, that's what I'm doing. Because there are some things that you cannot be doing and your ministry will survive after you are gone. There are some things, if you are doing them, give the ministry 6 months to disappear. Too many ministries being run as a one-man show. So when that man is gone, everywhere shuts down. Everywhere shuts down. So there has got to be a proper structure. If anything happens, what should happen? Who steps in? Most churches have no succession plan. Most churches have no succession plan. There should be a succession plan. In most cases, the person does not even need to be named. There should just be a plan. A succession plan. Thank God Papa Idahosa had such a thing written somewhere. If not, Church of God mission would have been ripped into shreds when he passed away suddenly. But the man had written it somewhere that whoever is going to take over from him after his departure should have done this, and this with him. Now, whoever has not done all of this with him cannot succeed him. So when they saw that write-up, they checked what he was talking about. The only person who had done all of that with him was his wife. So his sons came together, consecrated their mother, because she was just a pastor. So they had to consecrate her as a bishop and handed the ministry over to her, after which they elevated her to the office of the archbishop a few years later. Because, of course, she is the head of several bishops and pastors, so she has to be an archbishop according to the structure of their ministry. So this thing is not a joke. Oh. People don't plan the future of what they do. Your business is just you, so it can't survive. Guinness is still alive. I thought Guinness has been long dead. Ford is still alive. Henry Ford has died long ago. Mercedes-Benz is the name of the daughter of the Mr. Benz who owns the company. The guy don't die since. I'm sure his daughter has been long dead. There's an Anglican church in this town. You'll find it at the junction on the way to around that Mboba junction. Yeah. That Anglican church is 100 years old. It's on the road. That church is 100 years old. 100 years old. One church. I'm going to visit the place. I made up my mind. I want to visit the church. I want to see whoever is in charge. I want to have a gist with him for like an hour. And I want to beg him to give me access to some of their documents. Whatever this church is doing that makes it 100 years old, I want to know it. I need to understudy that church. How do they operate? What do they do? Now, the Anglican church generally is more than 100 years old. But this particular one that is standing here that I can study. I can study this one. Because there are some Anglican churches who didn't survive this long. This one, 100 years old. They celebrated 100 years old recently. I need to check out their structure and copy a few things. I'm telling you. Whatever makes that church 100 years old, I'm interested. I want to put that thing in Palace of His Majesty so it can be 100 years old if Jesus tarries. We will be gone. We will all be gone. What are you talking about? 100 years time, are we here? But some people will be here. If Jesus tarries, some people will be here. The best structure, as far as I'm concerned, is the Catholic structure. That's the longest standing organization in the world. The oldest organization in the world. And the strongest at that. The Catholic nation. Very strong. Very strong. You know, some structures are strong, but they are broke. They are not so wealthy like that. But not the Catholic. The Catholic Church is strong and wealthy. They even have a whole nation that they run, the Vatican. The Vatican is a whole nation on its own. A whole nation, but it's a religious community, but not run with religious sense. It's business. So, when you look at the Catholic structure, you look at the Protestant structure, the Anglican, the Methodist, you know. Then you look at people like the Church of God in Christ. These are structures that have been there long enough. But of them all, the Catholic Church is very strong structure, and absolutely wealthy. Because it's well planned. The people who planned it are not thinking about themselves alone. They knew every pope knows that another pope is going to sit on that throne. He's not the only one. There will be another after him. There were many before him. So that is how nations are run. Nations are run based on posterity planning. You know, you're thinking about those that are coming ahead of you, not just you, not just yourself. So, this is no joke. This is no joke. Something is happening. Something is happening. Plan the future. Sometimes it's not only about dying, but just plan the future. The future of your business. Abraham was futuristic in his planning. He had foresight. He knew that these people will create problem for his son when he dies, if he does not ensure that that place is fully transferred to him. And much later, Abraham told his son and his servant that that place, I bought it from the sons of Heth. I bought that place, that's where I buried Sarah. That's where you bury me. So that shows he planned it ahead. And he wasn't looking for a favor because he knows that when he's dead, those favors will change. It will change. To change. When my father passed away, there's a particular property which somebody gave to him for ministry work. But when he passed, I think they even did a document that the place is, he can use the place freely for 10 years or so. After a while, the man came back and said to my dad that God spoke to him that the place should not be given for 10 years, that the place should be released completely for him to use for ministry. That is, it's no longer 10 years, that is just, he should take it. So my dad insisted, just like Abraham, that they should do a document stating that. But that document had not been done before he passed. When he passed, guess what happened? The person who was witness to that transaction, who was close to my dad, got into a kind of pact with the owner of the place. Are you getting my point? Like, because this person is feeling like, oh, this man is dead now. So, got into a pact with the owner of the place, and they were planning to edge us out of the property. And the prophet that I am, I was laughing because I could see the whole thing that was going on. And what I did shocked everybody. What I did shocked everybody. I simply gave that property to the person in question as our family's appreciation of all your work to my dad, all your work with my dad, all your work under my dad while he was alive. I donated that property and everything my dad did on top of it to the person. Start your ministry with it. The person who connived with the person who gave this property to my dad, who my dad saw as a loyalist, was actually loyal to my dad, but was not trying to fight for his property that you don't have a right over. So, acting like a loser, like, am I not going to get anything? You are not family, you are just a worker. But because you've been a long-standing staff, you are looking for what you can grab. I mean, a lot of people did that in the score, and when this man died too. Everybody was looking for something they could grab before they get out. So I gave that property over to this person, and I said, use this property for your ministry. I had initially said that it doesn't matter what it costs, we'll go to court. The little investment what my dad put on that property is not it's not small money. I'm going to make sure that that property is used. It was used for Bible school back in the days. So I said, what he has put on that property must be preserved as a legacy and blah, blah, blah. And God said to me, hey, get out of there. I don't want to see you on that road. Hand it over to them. The person scheming to get it, give it to the person as a gift. So no need to scheme. Take all the glory. And I have simply set them up. Both the two people who got into that pact to get the property from us will eventually fight over it. That is if they don't kill each other because of it. I'm only grateful that I didn't go and bury my father on a piece of property that has not been made sure. So it's so important that you plan future. Everything you do, please always remind yourself, I won't be here forever. Very important. We always forget it. Why? Are you still in your primary school? Are you still in the high school you attended? Or some of you call it secondary school in Nigeria. Are you still in secondary school? Even those of you who went to university, have you not graduated? Are you still there? Those days were good, right? Very good days. But they are still there. All they can remain is good old days. They are gone now. No matter what position they gave you in the fellowship, are you still the one there? No matter how many wonderful things I did in Benin City, in a Kosodi church, am I still the pastor? Has the place not been handed over to several pastors after I left the place? That is life. You need to understand that you won't always be 22. You won't always be 25. Plan for 50. Plan for 60. Plan for 70. Plan for 80. If Christ tarries, plan for 90. Plan for 100. If Jesus tarries, you can also plan for what if. Because you are not God. You're not God. Plan for what ifs. What ifs? You are not God. You are not the Almighty. You're not the Almighty. So plan. Plan ahead. Plan well. You don't grow big to manage well. You manage well to grow big. You don't grow big to manage well. You manage well to grow big. You don't grow big to manage well. You manage well to grow big. Don't think you don't need to plan, because you need to plan. You need to plan. Plan your life. Plan your future. Plan your children. Plan. According to my own plan, I don't want to go to the convocation of any child at 70. I already planned it. Because if you are 70 and your children are just graduating, it's a problem. God will have to give you extra long life for you to enjoy those children and eat the fruit of your labor. Plan well. Some things will not always go according to plan, because, for example, there are people who lose their spouses. Maybe the person died or divorced or something, and they didn't plan another kind of life, and they found themselves there. When you find yourself in such a situation, replan. It's all about planning every phase of your life. Plan ahead, and when you get to that point and it does not work according to plan, replan. So the best thing is pre-plan and replan. Pre-plan and replan. It's important. You can plan ahead, and you can also do change of plans. Be flexible in your planning. Don't give yourself a nervous breakdown because something didn't go according to plan. Okay, maybe you had a plan that, okay, by 28 as a lady you'll be married. You are 32 now, you're not yet married. You're already 4 years behind that initial plan. So you will need to replan it. Okay, now I have a relationship. If I'm getting married in a year or two, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I want to arrange myself. And when you notice that you are delayed, you upgrade the plan, because the way to make up for the delay is to upgrade. The way to make up for past delays is to upgrade your life. All right. So we see how Abraham ensured that he did not trust the children of Heth. He ensured that he got the place for himself. He didn't joke around it. He got the place for himself. He got the place for himself. And it's no joke. It's no joke. It's no joke. God is doing something new in your life. So we're going to put this broadcast to stop. I'm going to come right back. I'm going to be back. We're going to end this broadcast now. I'm going to be back in 5 minutes, or almost immediately, let's say a minute or two. I'm going to end this broadcast and we're going to be back. And when we're back, it's going to be a time to pray for you and prophesy and pray for people. And we're going to do that for like 30 minutes or thereabout. Okay? So may God bless you in Jesus' name. Shalom, shalom. We'll be back in a minute.
Good morning from the Heaven Sat TV family.
Buenos días desde